Oh, hey, beat-ups! What are you up to? Mountain! Right. Llamas! Right. Are you interested of having these stuff from my wagon that is totally not a scam for the free price of your attic? And no, we also have water kittens. Sure. Well, just sign this piece of paper right here and... Oh, hi guys. Anyway, do you have a deal? Whoa, this looks very interesting. Wait, what? Hey, beat-ups, come get the clock. I'll see you first. So yeah, wars. This totally non-threatening 4-letter word we mentioned in the Hermitcraft community, everyone will go full nuts. I mean nuts! Especially this guy right here, who casually starts wars in typical British fashion. I mean, everyone likes wars, right? Probably just Grian. With wars, anything's possible. There'll be interactions and collabs with our favorite hermits. But then, eventually make a conflict, start an empire, cause wars, and eventually take over the whole server. But just start with this. For now. We all know that wars mean bad things. But also, it's fun content. It creates interesting storylines and interactions that make wars fun to watch. But causing it and getting away with it is a whole other thing. I mean, take this guy right here for reference. He started numerous wars in Hermitcraft. And every side of the war he is in, he always wins. Oh, and also, you can get away with any war you started, but just simply stating, it was just a prank. Anyway, wars in Hermitcraft, it's not really the wars you usually think, with all the explosions, factions, and armies through other SMPs, like Third Life and Dream SMP for example. Hermitcraft Wars is more of a friendly rivalry, or a prank that went out of control, like the Civil War and Turf Wars for example. Hermitcraft Wars usually starts when someone gets bored. And then, they turn on the box everywhere, someone joins in and invite their friends. And another person also joins in and invite their friends. And yeah, war. In the new season of Hermitcraft, Season 8, things are quite different. There's no official shopping district, and shops are now decentralized throughout the continent. Server-wide events usually involves main areas like the shopping district. But this season, the decentralized system encourages interaction among the hermits across the continent and allows them to create interesting storylines and interactions, especially with the proximity mod. There have been many speculations of a brewing war or a great event that would greatly involve many hermits to form certain groups and friendly rivalries with one another. And now, let's look on and speculate about the future wars that will happen in Hermitcraft. Starting with our first war, the Tycoon Wars. So, it's not really a war, but more of a competition. So, businesses in Hermitcraft really associate with money. And money means diamonds. And diamonds means stonks. The hermits usually have a shopping district for commercial shops and services. But the decentralized continental system made shops spread out and become localized in the different regions and areas across the continent. These forced the hermits to compete and build shops in these regions to obtain certain market of items to provide for the hermits. Like books for example. I mean, literally, every shop in the server sells books. And this potential market is up for grabs. Grian and Scar recently have come head to head in competing with one another for other hermits' attics recently. And with the founding of G-Train and Scar's wagon with its own reputation points, which by the way is totally not a flashback from Third Life, right? And also, there are other hermits and groups like Mambo Springles, Impulse's Factory, Pearl's Boats, the big guys with their stop and gas shops, Jam is great, and many, many more. It seems like the competition will get tough and could escalate to further extent. Next up, our next war is a Boatem versus the Goatem Empire. So, the Boatem village, this area of the northern region, is very interesting. With their Boatem pole, singing bases, mountains, more mountains, and a very sustainable base. The people that live here in general tend to cause some chaos around the server. The Boatem made a very interesting pole, which is the Boatem pole. That is a monument symbolizing the craziness of the Boatem village. But their neighbors from the west, Doc and Randog, made a similar pole, but with goats, in retaliation against a stolen moss block stolen by one of the members of the Boatem people. Grian saw the Goatem pole being higher than their pole, and they immediately lowered the Goatem pole and banned goats in the Boatem village. This rivalry could potentially go on throughout the rest of the season, and could escalate into a full-blown war. Although the Goatem is severely outnumbered, they could potentially try to invite other hermits in joining their side. And finally, our last war is the Transport Wars. So, the Transport Wars is mostly a war that involves two groups. These two groups are mainly the NWC, the No Wings Club, and the YWC, the Yes Wings Club. The No Wings Club is a group founded by Iskal to encourage the hermits to not use an elytra and use other methods of transportation, such as horses, llamas, pigs, or even these forks. This method of transportation encourages hermits to embrace traditional means of transportation instead of our usual highly advanced elytral flying. But we all know flying is way easier than general, so Iskal made certain medals in different tiers and ranks to be given to the hermits who accomplish a certain date or time without using elytra. And yeah, the medal is purely for bragging rights. So, moving on to its competitor, the YWC, the S-Wings Club, is a group jointly formed by Wells Knight and Impulse in retaliation against the NWC. They fear that the ongoing trend of hermits not using elytra will hurt their businesses of elytras and rockets, but also they argue that elytras are way better in general. And so, Wells and Impulse formed the S-Wings Club that provides freebies and incentives to hermits when they join the club. And this membership thing from both sides went something like this. Oh hey, beat-ups, do you like flying? I like horses! Sure. And llamas! Sure. Wrong person probably. Hey, Jam. Do you want to be part of the Yes Wings Club? We have free stuff. I'm kind of part of the No Wings Club, and they have medals for bragging rights, and it's kind of fitting with my demonstrate thing right now, so... Helmets! These two different clubs can create a social divide between the hermits, and possibly might initiate both sides to prove their own points and principle to one another. I mean, we all know how the whole principle thing went on from last season, right? Right? You heard something? Nope.